Hello everyone, this is Mara and welcome back to the Raven Legacy of a Master Thief. We are finally in Cairo now, and we just met in the previous episode, in the end of the previous episode, we met the director of the museum in Cairo, this guy here. So let's go ahead and chat with him.
So, the exhibition will still open tonight.
But of course, everything has been arranged. The final preparations are almost complete.
But one of the two exhibits won't be there.
A terrible loss, a tragedy. That irreplaceable Egyptian cultural treasure has been stolen for the second time.
The second time?
What? Did you really believe that the eye of the Sphinx was found lying on the banks of the Thames?
Inspector Legrand, Professor Lucien, and Constable Oliver are overseeing the transportation of the safe. They should be here at any moment. I'll have a look around in the meantime.
Do you think that's necessary? The Raven is dead, after all.
If you mean Dr. Gebhardt, his body was never recovered. Nor the stolen eye of the Sphinx, for that matter.
It does us a great honor that the Inspector is concerned about us. But we have everything under control.
Legrand isn't as concerned as he should be. But I am. Is the museum closed?
Yes. Only carefully selected guests may enter the museum during preparations for the gala. And of course, you're one of them, Mr. Constable.
What can you tell me about the museum's security system?
One of the best on the market. And the second eye will still be exhibited in our special treasure chamber, which is extra secure.
Treasure chamber?
See for yourself, to the right of the entrance. The eye is as safe as the British Crown jewels.
I think I'll have a look around the museum.
Please do. There's a lot to see. And you'll let me know if you see Grace, won't you? I hope we find her before the great inspector arrives. Isn't it fantastic how he solved the murder on the ship?
Legrand?
Of course. It's in all the newspapers.
Wow.
The murder of the wealthy Baroness von Trebitz, and how the great Inspector Legrand
Well, that's not
identified
true.
the murderer in just one day.
It was me!
It's the stuff legends are made of. You should count yourself lucky to have the chance to learn from him.
What exactly do the newspapers say?
Everything. It's fantastic. Someone on board must have informed the press immediately. Of course, it's a great advertising for us. The reporters will queue up tonight.
And it was reported that Legrand found the murderer.
Of course. Who else?
Well, I wasn't exactly uninvolved.
Of course. Legrand surely has assistants, but honor to he who deserves to be honored, right?
Well then.
Be seeing you,
Well then.
Constable. Grace! Here, Gracie. My
Oh.
sweetheart. Where are
That's
you?
the butler.
Oh, Mr. Inch.
Mr. Inch. There you are. I am so sorry. Baroness von Trebitz was a
He looks so happy.
good-hearted woman. She did so much for the museum.
As you say, sir.
And you? Are you leaving so soon?
I'd like to go back to my hotel. These last days have been such a strain.
First, you sneak into the museum without greeting me, and then you want to leave just as quickly?
I didn't want to disturb you, and we'll have time enough tonight.
Yes, you simply must come tonight. I wanted to present Baroness von Trebitz with a medal. Now you'll have to accept it.
Of course, if you insist, sir.
The Baroness paid for all this. Without her, there wouldn't have been an exhibition or a gala.
She was very generous.
Yes, she was.
If you'll excuse me now. Constable Zellner, I want to thank you again for all you've done. You saved me, you could say.
My pleasure. See you tonight.
Alright, let's go ahead and check out the notebook. There's probably a lot of stuff here that we need to check out. Okay, Dr. Gebhardt shot Baroness von Trevitz. I still don't know his motive. If I had to guess, I'd say it had something to do with the war and with the Baroness' deceased family members. And let's see, we have some new people here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we don't. Interesting. Let's check. Is there any new information about him? Yeah, it was Dr. Gebhardt. He murdered the Baroness and he wanted to do me in as well. He drugged me. There's no trace of Dr. Gebhardt. Maybe he leaped into the sea as he wrote in his suicide note. But maybe he's still alive. Alright. Let's check. Okay, main hall. Let's go and talk to Miss Miller.
Miss Miller, I'm glad to see you here.
Oh, Constable Zellner. I heard what happened to you on board. Awful. Truly awful.
All's well that ends well. You are waiting for Professor Lucien?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow you'll be sailing down the Nile, if I heard correctly.
That's right. I'm sure it will be an amazing experience.
But you don't seem to be very excited.
Oh, but I am. It's very generous of Lady Westmacott to invite me, and especially Maddie. He'll learn a lot.
But?
Well, Professor Lucien offered to join us.
Then Matt will learn even more. And I'm sure it won't be unpleasant for you either.
No, I just don't know how Maddie would react if Edgar came with us.
I understand. I could test the water to see how he'd feel about it.
Would you do that? Oh, thank you, Constable Zellner.
Were you able to find out why Professor Lucien left the forecastle so suddenly last night?
No, not really. We only had a brief conversation. He was still very nervous.
He was like that on the train as well. Seems to be typical of him.
It must be something to do with the burglary at the museum. It really affected him. But he told me not to worry about anything. He said, soon this would all be over.
Really? How did he mean that?
Oh, I didn't ask him, Constable.
Are there other passengers from the ship here?
Oh, yes, we arrived as a group. David Kreutzer, the violinist, was with us. So were Miss Myers and Mr. Inch. He seems to have gotten over the death of the Baroness pretty quickly. He seems positively relaxed.
I've met him. He looks on the bright side of life, so to speak. Where is Mr. Kreutzer?
He's over in the treasure chamber. Maddie is downstairs in the main hall. I'm afraid I'll hear the sound of something priceless shattering any second.
Matt will be careful, Miss Miller. I'll continue my tour of the museum.
Oh, yes, there's so much to see.
Alright. We can, let's see, we can go to the guard room. We can go to the rear area. Let's see, the main hall. Let's go and check out the guard room, I guess.
Locked.
Okay. Well, let's go here then. Okay, there's the violinist.
Mr. Kreutzer will provide the background music tonight at the opening. Does he have anything else on his agenda? How are the acoustics, Mr. Kreutzer?
Average. I wouldn't have expected anything else from a big stone cavern.
How does it feel to have been accused of murder and to escape by the skin of your teeth? The whole thing could have had a bad ending for you. You didn't have an alibi. It was your gun.
I must admit that I can imagine better ways to spend my time than being roughed up by Inspector Legrand. Your snooping actually paid off for me this time. Did you ever suspect me?
Of murder? No. I think you're too intelligent to shoot someone with your own gun without arranging an alibi for the time of the crime. It seems like a lot of the passengers from the ship are here this morning.
Nearly all of them. I had a brief conversation with the Baroness's butler. Between you and I, he seems quite happy to be rid of the old battleship.
Mr. Kreutzer.
Young Miss Mayers was here as well. Unfortunately, it seems like she's already disappeared again.
Forget it. She's engaged.
And the old witch with her caretaker and her brat are also here.
What do you have against Lady Westmacott?
The lady is more callous than the Queen of the Night. She chased her own son away, ice cold. I met him briefly. Flew to America because he couldn't stand her anymore.
Did any of the guests behave suspiciously? Was anyone unusually interested in the treasure chamber or the security system?
I couldn't say. I'm here to check the acoustics and then I'll come back for the gala tonight. I'm not interested in your detective games.
The newspaper this morning is full of reports about the events on board.
I've seen them.
Someone must have informed the press directly from the ship. He probably got a pile of money for the story, don't you think?
And again, they want to ruin my reputation. But no, Constable, it wasn't me. I didn't even consider it. And whoever did it was a bungler.
Why?
The story is in all the papers. You get more money if you sell the dirt to just one paper, as an exclusive.
Who do you think it was?
The young guy? The stowaway?
The captain didn't press charges and let him go this morning. But up until then, he was in the cell the whole time.
Perhaps Miss Mayers. Maybe she wants to become an actress and needs a bit of publicity.
Whoever it was, they wanted to make sure that the story spread, and they weren't after money. So, what were they after? Well, I'm looking forward to the concert.
It will be an unforgettable night.
Alright. So that's all that we can get out of him, I guess.
I can't read what it says, but the cover features a dashing picture of Legrand. It shows an energetic young man photographed from beneath, against the sky. That's the look of a man who can catch a thief and murderer in a single day. I don't believe that Legrand spoke to the press himself. He doesn't seem to like the attention, and he wouldn't falsely take credit for something he hadn't done.
Alright. Let's go and check this.
Ancient Egyptian jewelry. I like that golden signet ring with a scarab made of jasper. In ancient Egypt, these beetles were regarded as symbols of fertility. Nowadays, we just call them dung beetles. I suppose the beetles don't really care.
Okay, anything else? There's a guard. Let's see. Treasure chamber. This banner.
Exclusive and unique. The eyes of the Sphinx, exhibited together for the first time ever. Hopefully the visitors will be satisfied with a single eye. Otherwise, all this effort will be for nothing.
Okay guys, I actually had to check something. So remember when we were talking to the violinist and he was mentioning Miss Mayers from the ship, from the MS Lydia, and the good constable here actually said that she is engaged. So I started to think that, is there something that I missed in this game? And it's not a surprise, there is. So we actually missed a whole dialogue while on MS Lydia with Miss Mayers. And that is because in this game there are certain areas and certain times when you need to go to that area to be able to greet some of the characters in this game, and we totally missed that. We totally missed meeting or talking more to Miss Mayer. So that's the reason, and she actually mentioned that she is engaged during that dialogue. So there we go. That is why we know that she's engaged. And I also noticed that my audio was way too down, and the dialogue in the game was way too low. So hopefully that will be fixed after this clip as well. Anyways, so we have talked to the guy, and I have to say one more thing, guys. Another thing that I remember now that I missed is that we didn't complete the little side quest that we had on the train when we had to find the Baroness's purse. And it turns out that the good Mr. Kreutzer here is actually the purse thief. So yeah, I told you guys that I'm going to miss a lot of things. So he is a petty thief. We need to remember that. But anyway, let's just continue. Let's just continue and check what else we can find here. I think we did.
Unfortunately, now it's
Yeah.
just the eye of the Sphinx.
There we go. We did
But it's a
check the
bit
banner
too late
already.
to change the banner.
All right, here we go. Adjusting my things. Okay, let's continue.
Well-trained guards are usually the best security system, although they didn't manage to stop the Raven in London.
Aha, you tell him. Or you tell them.
The gala will be crawling with guards tonight. The local police might also send some reinforcements.
All right, can we talk to him?
Well-trained guards are...
Okay, here we go. Examine the treasure chamber.
That must be the treasure chamber where the eye of the Sphinx is due to be exhibited. The display case is already prepared.
Okay, let's not go there yet. I do want to check if there's anything else here that we might need. So let's go to the front area. We did talk to Mary already. The main hall. Yeah, let's go here. I knew that I'm going to miss so many things in this game. It's not even funny. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We're not going to go up yet. Here we go, the showcase. Oh, and Clarissa is there too.
Ah, I've heard of this. Desert glass. In the great sand sea of the Libyan desert, there's a region where natural glass is found. Nobody knows how it formed. The valuable material was often used for jewelry in ancient Egypt.
Interesting. So we're getting a nice look at the history as well. Daggers.
Several daggers in a row. Their shapes and patterns look timeless, elegant. What does it say here? The dagger on the left is a replica of the dagger from the tomb of Tutankhamun. It must have been incredibly precious during his lifetime because it's made of iron. Thousands of years before the Ice Age, meteorites were the only source of pure iron. So a star that fell from the sky, bringing a substance that's harder than anything they'd known before, would have been a dramatic event. No wonder they used it to forge a weapon for the godlike pharaoh.
Alright, what else? Another showcase.
Aha! This shows how the ancient Egyptians were able to move the heavy blocks of stone to build their pyramids and temples. They used ropes, wooden sleds, and poles as levers. These exhibits aren't originals, of course. They're reconstructed, based on old pictures. Nonetheless, it's impressive how they managed to build monuments like the pyramids with such simple tools.
Okay, there's Clarissa. Let's check the other statues and whatnot before we go and talk to her. Excuse me, just walking by.
This is Akhenaten, The only pharaoh whose portrait I always recognize. He has a very unusual head.
Yeah, that's something I would like to be remembered by. My head.
Akhenaten was the husband of Nefertiti and the father of Tutankhamen, a famous family. But he went down in history as the pharaoh who wanted to eliminate the old gods and replace them with a single god. The priests took offense, and he died of unknown causes. A figure of Imhotep, who comes in peace from around 2700 BC. The first polymath known by name, godfather of medicine, architect of the first pyramids, and according to legend, the inventor of Egyptian writing. He certainly achieved more than me in his life. He was a legend. The Greeks called him a god. The Romans still honored him 3,000 years after his death. Even today, scholars offer a drop of ink to Imhotep when they begin a new project. Really impressive.
Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and talk to Lady Westmacott.
Impressive, isn't it? Thousands of years old and still beautiful.
That it is. They dug it out of the sand near Thebes over 50 years ago. I was there.
Really?
I met my husband there. He was an assistant on the dig and was ordered by the director of the excavation to take care of that writer. I financed many excavations in the following years, here in Egypt and in the Near East. I visited my husband, together with our son. It was the best time of my life. But a museum is no place for nostalgia. What can I do for you?
You've had a long and successful life, Lady Westmacott.
What's that supposed to mean, Mr. Zellner? That I should be ready to leave the stage? Because I'm not.
Oh, I didn't want...
I'm here because life is here, Constable. Or was. I have never lived as much as I have here. No fame, no money can buy that.
I understand.
I'm sorry, Constable Zellner. Such an outburst isn't fitting for a woman of my age, and an English woman at that. Let's talk about something else.
Your son. You haven't said much about him. Or perhaps you did, just not by name.
You're an attentive listener, Mr. Zellner.
I was wondering why you knew so much about Miss Miller's unhappy marriage.
I stopped paying his bar tabs, stopped paying reporters to hush things up. He got to know her and went with her to America to start a new life. You can change your name easily, but not who you really are.
Hi,
He has
Maddie.
my eyes, doesn't he?
The Part 2 novel is for him, isn't it?
If I couldn't provide Matthew with a good father, then at least I can provide him with a good start in life.
So there's at least one mystery solved now. We know that Maddie is actually her grandchild. So there we go.
When I was working on the ship, I felt like one of the detectives in your novels.
You were lucky. It was an unusual murder. Most murders happen in the heat of the moment or are committed by idiots. They're uninspired. But Gebhardt thought it through. He could have succeeded.
I don't know. He made too many mistakes.
He couldn't have known that the Baroness, almost unconscious from the drugs, would lock her cabin door.
But that was a risk. The plan was too complicated and sloppily executed.
You certainly are a harsh critic, Mr. Zellner.
He could have shot her on the side deck and thrown the weapon into the sea. With no witnesses, no one would have suspected him.
How boring.
Or if it had to be a complicated plan, then he should have worked more carefully. Should have thought of everything, had a plan B in place.
Maybe he didn't have enough time. He had only a few hours to plan and commit the murder.
Still, he should have covered his tracks more carefully. The audio tape, The bloody glove? None of that should have stayed in the medical center.
And at this point, I need to remind you guys that the doctor actually said that he didn't leave any evidence. So that's interesting.
Do you think that Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven?
Was? Do you think he's dead?
The letter sounded like he committed suicide.
There's your answer. Does that sound like the Raven? Being unmasked? Taking the easy way out?
My sentiments exactly. The Raven wouldn't commit murder, get caught, and then jump into the sea.
You don't want everything to be over, do you?
It's my chance to do something great. It can't be over yet.
At least you solved the murder of the Baroness. You're a hero.
That's not how the newspapers see it. Nor I. Something's missing. I can achieve more.
Careful, Constable. He who flies too close to the sun.
Is that the myth of Icarus?
To be honest, no. The story is Greek, and was only written down 1,000 years later. I was counting on the dramatic effect.
Oh, worked well enough.
It was very dramatic.
Let's assume that the thief is still out there. Who is he?
If all this were a novel, then it would be the one you least expect.
Is that intended to be a confession, Lady Westmacott?
What do we know about the new Raven?
He's a man who would stop at nothing.
Must it be a man? And how do we know that it's just one person? There could be several people collectively pretending to be the Raven.
So, we don't know anything.
That's not completely true. We know that he or she wants the eye of the Sphinx, and will probably strike here, assuming he or she hasn't already gone.
It may be the end of the story for me, Lady Westmacott. Inspector Legrand will arrive soon and send me to the hotel. I'll return tonight for the gala, hoping all the while that the Raven does dare to attempt a burglary. Tomorrow morning, I'll have to return to Switzerland. What an unsatisfactory ending that would be.
It wouldn't be a triumphant ending, but it could be worse. At least you'd still be alive, Constable.
Good point.
Will you attend the gala tonight, Lady Westmacott?
But of course. The antiquities, the delightful atmosphere, and who knows, perhaps there will be another spectacular burglary.
And your cruise?
The ship doesn't leave until tomorrow, and believe me, I'd cancel the cruise for this.
As always, it was an entertaining and enlightening chat, Lady Westmacott.
I'm going to miss our little chats, Constable Zellner. Goodbye.
Alright, let's go ahead and check out the notebook. So we do have some more things about the lady now. Here we go. Lady Westmacott is Matt's grandmother. She has a son from whom she's estranged. He married a young American woman and they moved to the US. She had a son. That explains why Lady Westmacott is so interested in Matt. Maybe she wants to make up for what happened with her son. And let's see, something else is probably here too. Maybe here? Nope. Okay, let's see. I really need to check the notebook more often. There's actually quite a lot of story here. And as we move forward with this chapter, we're definitely going to be looking this more. I do know that. Okay, here we go. We missed this in the last episode, I think. The doctor's confession has given me a lot of food for thought. My gut feeling is that he is not responsible for everything, but I don't have any evidence to back that up. The note is also interesting for another reason. It proves that whoever really is behind it all was present at the alleged death of the Raven 5 years ago. Has the old Raven returned from the grave like the newspapers claim? Let's see, anything else? Here we go, and this is our current mission. Look around. I should use the time before the safe arrives to have a look around. Alright. So, Matt is here. Let's go and talk to him.
Ahoy, Matt.
The statue was talking.
The statue was talking?
Yes.
And what did it say?
It said it was...
That's a very bad word.
I know.
And an English one. Don't you think it's odd that an old Egyptian statue speaks English?
Don't you think it's odd that a statue speaks at all?
That
Exactly.
would have been my next question. And, is the statue talking to you right now?
Do you think I'm nuts?
No, of course not.
Just a tad.
I just thought you might have much better ears than me. Ears that can hear statues.
Some cop you are, Mr. Zellner. This is a mystery and you're just making jokes.
You're right. It's just...
Don't you believe me?
Sure.
We both agree that a stone statue without a mouth or vocal cords cannot speak, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, that means you heard something else, and we have to find out what or who it was.
Roger.
Interesting. So, a talking statue.
I'm almost a bit envious of you. Going up the Nile on a ship, it must be great.
Yeah, I guess.
You don't sound so keen.
I think my mom wants the professor to come too.
And you don't? You can't tell me.
What if Mom marries the professor and doesn't work with the lady anymore? We'd have to move to London, and I'd have to go to a new school.
Okay, so we will have to think about this now. Tell her that you don't like it, or did you think of her at all? I don't think I've ever seen anyone pick the second option here. And I'm actually kind of tempted to check that out. I'm kind of tempted. So let's defend the mother.
You like your life as it is, and you don't want to change a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever thought about whether your mother is happy? The world doesn't revolve around you, you know. If you're unhappy, you have to do something. Sometimes you have to take a chance. And in that case, you need all the help you can get.
Do you mean Mom isn't happy?
I don't know. What do you think? This we have to see. The eye is coming.
All right.
This will all be over soon. Then I'll finally have time for you.
We wanted to head back to the hotel.
Certainly. And tonight at the gala, I'll show you around the museum, okay? And have you made up your mind about the cruise?
Well, I don't really know.
Oh, come on, Mom. Who could teach us more about Egypt than the professor?
Oh.
Then it's settled.
Oh, and she's happy now.
I
Oh.
didn't expect you to say that.
Well, Mom, sometimes you have to take a chance.
Oh, I love it. I've never seen this part of the cutscene.
Well, who wants ice cream?
Me! Actually, Mr. Zellner still owes me some.
You did good, Zellner. That is fantastic. And we are going to actually end this episode here, and in the next one we are going to go to the treasure chamber and check out what's happening there. So thanks so much guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and comment below, and I will see you next time in the Raven.